Hello and welcome back. Now, honestly, I was really tempted to do a David Attenborough impression for this video to show the wild Chroma in his natural habitat taking a shit ton of damage and laughing it off, but the fucker just kept on dying. This is a bit of an overview of the Chroma Rework, and it's split a lot of people. To be honest, Chroma needed a rework. I don't think there's anyone that has argued that. Chroma needed a rework. What was actually done with him is possibly where it gets a bit questionable. Now, for me personally, the drop in his damage output, that's a fair one. When DE implemented a brand new big ass boss that's meant to replace Raid, so you can think, oh, this has got to be pretty difficult, and then all you got to do is equip your Chroma and one shot the fucker. There are eyebrows definitely being raised. There is some dodgy things going on here. However, Chroma is renowned for being that tank. That thing that the harder you hit, the harder he hits back. And at the moment, yeah, that's not really happening. Defensively, I think he needs to be buffed. Maybe not to where he was, but where he is now is certainly a no-no. That needs to be a middle ground as to where he is. The buff that he gives off as well now is it's slightly interesting, but I still don't see it worthwhile. Honestly, I've played around with a few other Chroma builds before and after the reworks, and they're not Chroma. I don't know how to explain it. They are not as good as just his general tanky, loving build and just screwing things over. So, is this rework really worth it? Well, that is actually up to you to decide. I personally don't mind it. This is a Kuva Flood. I'm doing perfectly alright. You need to play a little bit more cautiously. You can't just throw yourself in and press 2 and 3 and go and make yourself a cup of tea and come back and you've only lost 5 health. Screw it. You do need to be a little bit more self-aware as to what is going on. Do be aware that particularly things like heavy gunners at around level 80 will start to chew you up. Bombards will give you a nice little fucking shock, and bursters, etc., will also give you a headache. But they are dealable. You can't just, like I said, you can't just sit there and take it. You need to actually play. He's not as much of a lazy frame as he used to be, where you have to graft and graft and graft to get him built, and once he's built, that's it. Easy time ahead, lads or gals. It's not that anymore. He's still quite tanky, he's still quite survivable, he does still hit pretty hard, but you can't just mong it with him. You've got to be a little bit more involved with the gameplay and keep pushing through. Now, originally, when I came back to Chroma after the rework, one of the reasons it's actually taken me so long to get this video out is I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the build. Turns out I only really needed to swap 2 formers around to compensate for one mod change, and I do find that this has worked, for me at least. I am still running a Fire Chroma, and as with the latest update with the arcanes, etc., I can actually now actively show you what arcanes I have, rather than sort of going into the appearance, the Sidana and the helmet and whatnot. I can just actively show you, which is actually pretty darn good, I find, personally. But yeah, that's just me. Anyway, just to do a little bit of a show and tell, recently hit MR25, go me. So these are corrupted heavy gunners at level 155. Yay! And as you can see, I'm being a little bit cautious by hiding behind the pillar. I'm not coming out just going full frontal and yay, go at me guys, because as you can see, my health is dwindling already and pretty darn quick. Thank you, Arcane Grace. However, you can also see, yes, I am using a Corinth, and the Corinth does have a rhythm, but 2 well-placed shots, and these guys are gone. So, the build: Rejuvenation, Power Drift, Intensify, Narrow-Minded, Blind Rage, Primed Vigor, Vitality, Hunter Adrenaline, Still Fibre, Prime Continuity, Arcane Grace, and Arcane Guardian. Thank you very much, and I will see you pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!